While I wait for one and all to join me tonight, I just want to say welcome to everybody once again. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to be with me. And I really appreciate that. Look at my background there. Okay, so I shall delight in the arrival of you all as we count down to 7 o'clock. Prepare yourself for the Soul to Soul Spirit Mind Gym. I am your host, Diana Lewis. I look forward to each Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ep6D. I see you're just still streaming, so I'll wait for you to load up on your device wherever you are. Have some background music about love. In fact, I'm going to play Maya Angelou, who speaks about love liberating. Are you there, Marilyn? I can see all of you, but you've switched off your volumes. So if you can hear me, just go into the chat room and say hello. Have a look. Let me enter in the chat room. I have to get some headphones. Okay. Okay, Misty. Wow, why is this not sending? Oh, I'm with you, I'm with you. Hi, Marilyn. Hear me? This is why with technology, we can never be certain that it's going to run smooth. There are always these little gremlins and hiccups that happen, no matter how prepped you are. And, you know, the last minute, as you announce yourself, then something just happens. But that's technology for you. It's not as well thought of as it makes out. It still requires the human brain behind it to function. So as we wait for everyone to come, hear some of this in the background, because I am recording it and I know that you will like to hear it eventually. Let's just. Grateful to be up in love. Right, this is Mayor Angela. I am grateful to be up in love. Be loved now. And to be able to love. Because that liberates. Love liberates. It doesn't go. That's ego. Love liberates. When my son was born, I was 17. Mother had a huge house, 40-room house. At 17, I went to her and said, I'm leaving. She asked me, you're leaving my house? And she had live-in health. I said, yes. I found a job and I got a room with cooking. What did I do? All right, no problem. We'll stop it there. There seems to be some technicalities the other end. I see Di coming on. Oh yes, I can see her audio streaming, so I know she's definitely going to enter the room. I see Stephanie also. I see her audio streaming. Hi Di.
Hi guys.
Hello, beautiful. We've had hey Steph. Hi Sapphire.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, darling.
Yes, baby. We've had people join, and there seems to be some technical error going on their end. So I've told them to jump out and jump back in. As you know, technology is, no matter how prepped you are, them little gremlins always. But you know what? Someone needs to be in love today. Someone needs to leave here liberated. So while we await for clearance, let's just know that self-love is the key, no matter what. I've got some juicy stuff for you tonight. Ooh. Are you at home, Steph, or work?
I'm at home, and my granddaughter's here with me. I've just made her a bottle.
How old is she? How old is your granddaughter?
She is, 14, 15 months now.
Oh.
How old is Raina? 15 months, Des.
August, isn't she?
Yeah. Oh, well done.
And don't forget special events, you know, baby. That mean things to my friends.
Say hi.
Oh, hello.
Hello. That's love right there.
Hello.
That is love right there.
Oh.
Hot chocolate.
What she? She got a hot chocolate. I got a hot chocolate here.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Oh, bless her.
Oh.
Is this Pastor Loy here?
Hello, Pastor Loy.
Hi, Di, you got Diane, you good?
Yes.
We're all right. We're good.
Oh, that's
good.
good.
Evening.
Yeah.
You're looking like a ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel tired, but I just said, you know what? Let me come and get some lighten up spirit. You know,
thank you, sister. Thank you, Pastor Lloyd, for blessing us with your presence today. It means so much. And I understand it's a long day, especially with this heat. It can take a lot out of you. So I appreciate you taking your time to be here.
Hi, Diane.
Hello, Trish.
I can hear you. It's Marilyn. I can hear you now.
Oh, hi, Mel. So I can see you're coming up as Ep6. That's good.
Let me come down and.
That's good. Well, tonight we're going to be speaking on the topic of love. That wonderful word that always takes a bashing when things go wrong.
Exactly.
And if we really, really knew who the one true love is, we would think twice before we even attempted to blame it on love. I'm just going to mute the background here. Steph, I'm just going to mute you, okay? That you can hear me, yeah? So, without further ado, thank you once again. We have been blessed with some beautiful blue skies, and the evergreen platform is just awesome to see. I've taken so many different pictures of trees, different green shades of green. So,
Yep.
what is good?
Yep. God's creation.
Hello, Trisha.
Hi. Sorry, I'm a little late. Just trying to sort everything out.
You're not late at all. You're not late. I'm gonna apologize in advance because I've got this dry, tickly cough, and it is so annoying. So if I mute out, you'll probably see me doing these coughing fits in the background. So I've got all different kinds of water. I've got a bottle. I've got a lemon. I've got coconut water.
You need ginger cordial.
Right. You see?
I'll
That's
get
why.
your bottle. I'll buy your bottle.
All right. So let's crack on. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Yeah.
The reason why I spoke on this topic is because it's so big. And if you was on last week's platform, we kind of ended in this self-love. But I'm all about love anyway, because I believe authenticity is when we take on being truthful to ourselves. And that is about the first step to loving ourselves. So I asked you all if you could have a pen, a notepad available, because there's some exercises that I really want. I want it to be an interactive platform today. So do you have your notepad and pen? Just give me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And we're
Mine's
good to go.
on
Yes,
its way. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
dear, I have mine.
Get me a pen.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, I want you for me, or for yourself, I want you to describe in detail how the person you seek, or, you know, we're going to look externally first before we come internally, because this will help form the model of self. Yeah. Describe in detail how the person you seek, number one, would treat you. I'm going to write it in here, actually. Describe. Did everyone get that? Describe in detail how the person I'm gonna mute. You're gonna hear me, all right? Because right. Describe in detail how the person you seek, if you're not with them already, would treat you or is treating you. And the reason why I am throwing it out there, because like I said, with what we look for externally, it will provide the model of love that we see for ourselves. Okay, so describe in detail how the person you seek would treat you. That's the first one. The second one is, how would you feel around this person? And number 3, how would you ideally want to relate? So let me write number 2 in here. If you're not sure of the questions, look inside the chat. I'm putting them in there. How would you? So number 1, describe in detail how the person you seek would treat you. Number 2, how would you feel around this person? So how would the way they treat you make you feel? So this would require you to be, I'll give you examples if you're struggling. Comfortable, number 1. And then you can take it from there, because you might not want to be comfortable. You might want to feel uncomfortable. Who am I to judge? That's what you want. How would you ideally relate? How would you ideally relate? Oh, excuse my French. Oh God, what did I just do? I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. Hi, Shan.
Hi.
If you go in the chat, you'll see 3 questions that I want you to answer.
Okay. I need to remember how to go in this chat more. Yeah,
How would you ideally want?
The questions aren't here.
No?
No.
Want.
I can't see it.
Yeah, it is there.
They are there.
Number 3 is not there.
No.
It's only 1 and 2.
Okay, how would you ideally want to relate?
Okay.
Right. Hi, Stuart. Thank you for joining us. So basically,
Thank you for having me.
huh?
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for
Can
being.
you hear me?
Yes, I can, but I'm going to put you on mute, and I want you to look in the chat room, and I'll go over it again. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, like as I said to you, describe in detail how the person you seek would treat you. How would you feel around this person, and how would you ideally want to relate? It should have a question mark there. So this is an interactive platform. It's about transparency, and it's about, I like to be unfiltered, you know, no filtration, because if we're going to want to understand true love, we have to be honest to ourselves, number 1, right? And the reason why I'm speaking on this love topic, because some of you may be loved up. So it's not even a case about being loved up, because love has no expiration. Number 1, it has no expiration, you know, and love is healing. It is the most liberating feeling, especially when you are experiencing the true, genuine, authentic love. And like I said earlier, I don't know who was on to hear me, poor old love always gets the blame for everything. And it has nothing to do with the hurts, the pain, the confusion, the frustration, the anger, the rage. It has nothing to do with that. The uncertainty, the brokenness. Love has nothing to do with that. That's why I chose the title, Love Liberates. So I'm going to throw this out there to anyone who would like to share in the first question, which was describe in detail how the person you seek would treat you.
It's me, Marilyn here. With a lot of love, with a lot of respect. respect each other, respect each other's wishes, ideas, just that togetherness, that openness. You know, everybody's got faults, but at the end of the day, if you come united together, you make one jigsaw puzzle. Do you understand? And that's what I've put for the first one. Respect is the key for me, and
So
feeling
respect.
that love. Yes, total respect.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Thank you, Marilyn. And can you
That's okay.
can you introduce yourself when you announce who you are?
Okay,
Or
I'm
when you-
Marilyn Campbell. Hi, everyone. The next group, I'll show my face. It's just that, yeah. Hi, Diane. I can see you. Hi.
That's you up the top.
Hello.
Let me, hi. I can see you, that's why I'm saying hi.
Okay, shall I go next then? Okay, so I've got mentally connected, loved, and also doing things together is important, and taking time to spend quality time with me. And I've added in respect, yeah. I've cheated.
Yeah,
I didn't
yes, that's the key.
nick that.
That's the key. That's
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I wrote down for number one.
Is that togetherness, doing things together, yeah?
Yeah, quality, spending quality time. Yeah, so and also if I add, you know, sort of respecting each other by respecting that you need to have time by yourself as well. So it's not always about being together, but that quality time is key.
Okay. Anyone else? No pressure.
Hi, everyone. It's Street Pastor Lloyd speaking. For me, it's just being respect and honesty and just be fun, you know, because I think you go into things too deep, you won't realize. But if you just stay on board in what you believe and know that's what is for you, you will stay focused. Because I do like meeting people, you know what I mean? Especially men, I get on with very good. So I will be a little flirt, but I like doing that. That's my way.
That's the authenticity.
I don't know who I'm gonna be. How am I gonna meet the man if I don't really put myself out in my little playful way? So yeah, have some fun, show your little character, and just, you know, see where it goes from there. Because it's not about you want to look for a relationship. It's more about starting something to build together. That's what it's for me. You know, getting to know them, be comfortable, have some fun. Life is too short now. So that's the way I'm looking at my life and say, no, I'm going to be more bold and just go with the flow and see what happens.
No, that's exactly what we're talking about. That is exactly what I want. You use the word flirt. Maybe people that was on it were like, oh, I wasn't expecting her to say that. But yes, say it, because that's your truth. We know there's another word for it, but that is your truth, and that is perfect. Anyone else? you may have startled somebody, Dr. Lloyd. You
muted. Oh, it's on mute.
So the question is, how would you ideally want to relate? Is that it?
Well, no, that was the last one. The first one is describe in detail how the person you seek, if you're not already together, would treat you. What was it about that person in your first encounter?
Okay, I think it's a very challenging question, but if I have to try and simplify my answer, I think it's about them treating me as the person that I am. I'm not trying to treat me as the person they want me to be.
Wow.
Because within ourselves, well, within myself, I have a certain characteristic. I have a certain way that I do things, you know, and my way isn't going to be uniform to everybody else's way.
Hi.
Okay? And
Hello.
don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's my way or no way in life in general. I'm not saying that. But initially, when you meet somebody, you know, you have to embrace them as they are, the way that they are. And it's then over a period of time that the juggling around, so to speak, takes place where, you know, you may have to move up a couple of notches in one area to say, well, okay, be more uniformed, or move down a couple of notches in another area to be more uniform. But in essence, I would like to say that they see me as I am and take me as I am and work on the potential indifferences. Does that answer your question?
And that's, there's no right or wrong answer. That's what you seek in the person. The reason I threw that question out, and let me just say hello, Winnie.
Hi, how are you?
I am great, my darling.
Oh, good.
I know you've come in mid-flow, but
I did.
if you know how to navigate through Zoom, we have a chat room, and there's 3 questions that I threw out there to the participants, and we're answering the first one, which was describe in detail how the person you seek will treat you. The reason why I posed that question first is because it's working on the model of how we give love, yeah, and then receive it. So I did an external question, and then I will come back to us as an individual, yeah. So if you go in the Zoom chat, well, I'll tell you the first question: describe in detail how the person you seek will treat you. So Stuart was just giving his definition of, you know, how he would like to be treated, and some other participants used respect, being mentally connected, togetherness, quality time, respect of self, honesty, and fun. Do you have any to add to that?
No, I like, yeah, with respect, definitely. I would say the same, fair, with love. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to add to that.
Okay, fine. All right. So we'll move on to the next question. Before I go, is everyone okay? Still happy to listen? All right. Because I can see you, you can just give me a thumbs up, and then I will just move on. Right. Okay. Right. So the next question was, how would you feel around this person?
Feeling safe. Safe for me is the one that really stands out. Safe, at least you know wherever you are together, you know that you're safe. He can protect you, like you protect each other, but you've got that sense of security.
Very good.
And also feeling valued, proud of each other. Do you understand? When you're around that person, if you're out in public, that person should feel no way to introduce you to whoever, their friend, family, or whatever. Just feel proud. You stand tall together. So yeah, that's my input. That's what I how I.
I like those. I like those. I do. Very important.
Yeah.
Anybody want to add to those? And you don't have to tell me. You can write them in the can private message me, and I will feed them back if you want to remain anonymous, okay? Because I know that there are people who are not comfortable speaking out and are just happy to listen, and I respect and I appreciate that. So just for you, if you do have something you'd like to say, you can just private message me in the chat room, and I can share it anonymously. All right. So the third and final one. Oh, sorry, Stuart. Sorry, go for it.
Sorry, I thought it was on video.
I feel that ideally you have to have your own individual character and persona, but you also have to have that unified togetherness. So you have to have that as oneness. So it's really about the two of you coming together as one and having that united front. However, in the midst of all that, remaining, keeping your own individual personalities. So how you would define that, Diana, I don't know.
No. You know, like I said, this is about the individual, your perception, and on how you see love. Because as much as love is one word, everyone's got their own perception of what love is to them, what love means, how they want somebody to treat them. Somebody said spiritual connection, being spiritually connected. You understand me? Another person might not care if you love God or you don't love God. You understand me? Everyone's got their different preferences. But the point of this whole question is it models who you see yourself in the position of what love is to you. Do you understand me? And why I threw it out on an externally was because the person who you're seeking, now I'm going to ask, or will ask eventually, is for all of those traits, because these are traits that you are requiring in this person who you are going to want to establish a friendship with and may want to be with for the remainder of your life. So these traits that you've thrown out there and probably have got on your paperwork in front of you, are they a reflection of who you are? Because you, Stuart, spoke about, I think it was you, someone said like equally allowing that person to be who they are around you. Yes, not needing permission to be who they are is exactly that. And that's where all of these security, valued, proud, safe, protection. If a person feels all these things in the presence of the person who they are with, they automatically will feel they can be who they really are. Where a lot of the times there are relationships where people are afraid to be their true self. And that is why we question the whole, aspect of love is supposed to liberate you. Right? Love of self is supposed to liberate you. Love of another, again, liberates you. Love is not supposed to restrict you in any way, shape, or form. Yeah? I'm just going to read something here before I go to the last question. And welcome, Winnie.
Thank you.
Long time no see, Winnie.
Yeah, long time. It's been years.
It has indeed.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us. But anyway, later.
Yeah.
So, the quality of the relationship between you and yourself is paramount because all your other relationships are based upon it. Did everyone get that? The quality of the relationship between you and yourself. Now, I've used you and yourself, and there's a reason for why I've broken the two up. And you may not have heard it being spoken to in this term, but we actually do have two sets of ideals of self, yeah? There is a distinction between you and yourself. Yourself is the core of your being, the essential entity that exists irrespective of your personality, yeah? Which is your ego, your opinions, and your emotions, yeah? So that's one distinction as well. It is the small sacred space within you that houses your spirit and your soul. You are the observer, the coach, the editor, and critique who surveys your thoughts, your words, feelings, and behaviors, and determines how much of your essential self is shown to others. That was a mouthful, but there were some key points in there that I hope resonated with the distinction of self. Yeah, between you and yourself. Yeah, so when we look at ourselves, we most often than not, we stand from a platform of being somewhat perfect. Yeah. And that's why I asked this question about the person that you seek. How would you have the person you seek treat you? So everybody's thrown out these traits. Now, let's go back to self. Can you honestly tick, and I mean honestly tick, these traits that have been shared and say that you possess these traits? And if you do, and I say it again, and if you do, would you also say, or can I also say, with the traits that you possess that are equal to the ones that you are seeking in this other person, when you meet that person, you will be ready? Stuart's laughing there.
I'm actually laughing. It's more a case of like, I think the problem around what you're saying, Diana, is that unfortunately, a lot of people don't actually know themselves. They really don't know themselves. The presumption of themselves is very different to what they actually are and who they actually are. And very often what people really need to do is ask their best friend and their worst enemy, what do you really think about me? What is it about me? Tell me something about myself that I need to know. And we have to very often dig deep into ourselves and ask people around us to tell us what it is about me. And we have to be prepared to hear very often something that we don't want to hear. Because very often what we think of ourselves is not what we actually are.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very often it's not what we actually are.
A true, valid and fair point. That's why I kind of chose the wording that I did, and I hope I put it in the right context, because that is so important about, or when we come to looking at ourselves, and I use the word perfect, because we always tend to say, this is what I want in this person, X, Y, Z, you know, and they need to have this and they need to have that. And if they don't have that, forget it. Blah, 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 yeah. But if they do have it and you don't have it, what do you then do? Because automatically, most often than not, those very traits that you're looking for in that person always show up as red flags when they're missing from the relationship, from the friendship, from the partnership, whatever you're establishing. A red flag always shows up. And you know whose end it shows up on? It shows up on your end. But then you try to project it as being the fault of the other person. because we don't like taking ownership.
Can I speak? Because I've kind of been a little bit quiet.
Go ahead, Trish.
I just wanted to kind of pick up on that, and I really relate to that because I can only talk on my personal experiences. And one thing I noticed recently that I wasn't happy about is kind of certain relationships that I was having. I was recognizing there were red flags, and where in the past I might have just kind of ignored it or just kind of accepted that's how it is or whatever. But the last time this happened to me, and I wouldn't say it happens on a regular basis, I don't meet a lot of people all the time, but I think I was at a point in my life where I thought I need to just stop, press pause, and take a look in myself. Because why am I attracting this type of dynamic? And it was kind of initially I thought, oh, it's great, we've got a lot in common and blah, blah, blah. And then as time went on, I started to see red flags, and it made me think, okay, why am I attracting this? So what happened is kind of a step away, and then I kind of took time out to reflect and look within myself, but what was going on for me, because I just couldn't really understand what was going on with this kind of dynamic in this relationship. And I realized that I needed to look at myself and maybe my kind of patterns of behavior, or how I interact emotionally with people, or my expectations. So for me, this is really kind of like come up at a good time, because this is actually something that I've kind of been going through recently. So I can really relate to it, definitely.
And I appreciate that so much, Trish, because I know it can take a lot sometime to open up and speak on things that are close to home.
Yeah, and I don't know anyone here personally, so it is very personal for me. So and
I commend you. I commend you for that, because this is where we struggle, when we sit there and we don't want to share, because we have this tendency as humans, and we all are guilty of it, myself, and I'm sure people on this platform, if they're going to be true and honest to themselves. That's why I'm all about transparency now in my life. I wasn't always that way, and unfiltered, because I've reached the point of my life where I am so free in myself as an individual that I've got nothing to lose anymore, because I've lost, once upon a time, everything. Love, you name it, everything. So to come from that place and arrive where I am today, I can honestly say I don't look like what I went through. But that's not to say in going through it all that I didn't feel I could share the uncertainties, the pain, the journey. And it took a lot for me to get to that place where when I'm speaking it, I don't cry. And I spent most of it just like what you said, and I can identify when you think, why am I attracting? I can't say why am I attracting, because I'm coming from a marriage, so it's just my husband. But I will use the word because it's not just in your intimate relationship, it's with friends as well, colleagues, business. You understand me? And all of that derives from, you are just a mess. I'm going to throw it out there. I was just a mess. So how on God's green earth was I going to attract anything that didn't look like who I was? It just wouldn't work. And if you was on last week's platform, you would have heard JC talk about that seed and our mindset, and how things, we can't sow in fertile ground if we're corrupted. And it wasn't because, I know that's probably a strong word, but it wasn't because I was corrupted. It was because I was a mess. I went through a stage of my life where I just was a mess. What I felt love was, it wasn't. Who I thought I was a fraud. to myself, because I put out externally this persona, but I was crumbling inside. Do you know what I'm saying? And I like that honesty, and I commend you, and I appreciate where you are. And if this platform is giving you some kind of breakthrough to the development of who you are, then I welcome it, and I welcome you.
Okay. I mean, I will say that, to be fair, it's something that I recognized, I would say, last year. So it's something that has been work in progress. So I've done kind of a lot of self-development around self-love. And what I've noticed now is that I think my kind of where I'm at is I'm kind of moved into a different kind of place where I am meeting different people who are more on the same wavelength myself. I think because I've looked within myself and looked at like my behavior patterns and my thought patterns, and you know, I think that was to do with the kind of people that were coming into my life. So I think where now I have done a lot of work on it, I feel that, you know, I'm in a different place now, and I do seem to be kind of connecting with different people, more positive mind people that don't have any kind of negative behavior patterns. So yeah, I think it definitely, you know, is work in progress, but I can see the difference in myself.
So can I ask you if that word liberate is a feeling that you are experiencing?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, I can relate to liberate, but I would say for me, how I would describe it is it's like I've liberated myself, because where I've kind of looked more at self-love rather than sort of seeking validation from other people, or, you know, sometimes it's the wrong people and the validation they want to give you, whether it's like kind of like breadcrumbs or, you know what I'm saying. So it's like, so now I feel that so I would say I feel that I would have more liberated myself, definitely. So yeah, I can relate to that expression.
Thank you. Excellent. Stuart, did you put up your hand?
Yeah. Can I say something in relation to what Trisha said, and yourself as well, Diana? I feel that you know, max respect, Trisha, you know, because what we are to do, we are to embrace who we are and where we are, and not to live in denial. Okay, we all have issues and we all have things going on in our lives, and it's about actually identifying who I am and what I am and why I get into the situations that I get into. And once you actually embrace it and take ownership of it, you can now deal with that. You can now deal with that. And in essence, the truth sets you free. The truth sets you free. You've been able to look into yourself and say to yourself, why do I keep getting into these relationships, these predicaments, whatever they are? Why? And you've identified why that is, okay? And that is a sign of mega strength and maturity, right? And the reality of it is that when you know what your problem is, you're halfway to solving it. It's when you don't know what your problem is, you are totally lost. But when you know what your problem is, you are halfway to solving it. And it's by sharing these platforms and sharing our experiences that we encourage other people to self-examine, to self-reflect. And you realize it's not necessarily about you in the context of you as an individual. It's just the environments that you allow yourself to be in. And you know, we all have the facility and opportunity to break the mold. We don't have to keep on rolling into the same environments. Break the mold, break the system. Say, no, I'm not having no more of this. This is me, this is where I am, this is where I'm going. Start anew, and every single day is different. Every single day is a new start. Your past is your past. You know, your future is what you make it started as of now. Okay, so yeah, so thank you for sharing that, because it is enlightening and it is very refreshing. Thank you.
It is. It's just breathtaking to hear when someone arrives at that place of taking ownership of their life and realizing you deserve more. You know, you deserve better than what you're undergoing. And that's where that love of self has to be at the forefront, number one. And I say that because people ask, and I think Stuart said it as well, but what if you don't know how to love yourself? Because there are a lot of, you know, mitigating circumstances that add to you never experiencing love or experiencing the wrong type of love. So how do you tell somebody, and you know, and where do you tell them to start? Where do they start when it comes to loving self first? When they've never known or been shown what real love is. You know, that's a struggle that a lot of people, or in conversations I've had, I don't know how to love myself. They just don't know. And even when you're trying to explain to them, they don't even have a starting block. And I remember watching one day with Oprah Winfrey and T.D. Jakes, and they were talking about this measurement of love. So it kind of encompasses this question and maybe hopefully give an answer to it. And I've got these objects here. So for example, two people get together where one person was fed, just say this is 500 meals of love. Yeah. So they grew up having been fed 500 meals of love. They met a person who only grew up having 250. Yeah. So when they got together, here is this person with all this love and having these expectations on the partner who didn't know any more than the 250 meals that they grew up on. And as you can imagine, there were conflicts of interest, because one was raised a certain way and was trying to get the same measurement of love from out of their partner. And here is the partner that was being smothered with 250 meals more of love that they never ever experienced in their life, and they felt like they were drowning. It was just too overwhelming. It was too much for them. Yeah. So one was pouring into the other, but wasn't getting back enough. So this is what happens in life from an individual perspective, and also it pours into the relationships that we get, whether it's with a partner or with friends, because we only have been shown what we have been shown. So we struggle along the way. And where it looks like we're struggling, it is seen as conflict. It brings up conflict in our lives because we are not being able to understand one from the other because of the expectations that have been placed upon us. So when it comes to asking someone, you know, or someone saying to you, but I don't know how to love myself, we might say, what do you mean you don't know how to love yourself? You must know how to love yourself. But there are people who just do not know how to do it. And there are people that no matter how much you explain, they will not connect because there has been no bondage from childhood, because this goes back to child development. Bonding and attachment yeah, starts from those early ages in your life. And it takes a lot for people who come from those trauma backgrounds to develop an understanding of love. And sometimes they don't get there until they go through a host of different plateaus and rejection and so many different things that they can't even identify themselves, but because they're looking and they're searching and they're seeking and they know that there's something other than what they've been told or what they haven't felt, but it's like looking for love in all the wrong places. And you will do that for as long as it takes before you understand, I deserve something bigger than this heartache, than this pain. And some people, unfortunately, they never, ever recognize or get to find out what true love is. But the moment when a person comes across this true love, it's almost like it's rehabilitation. Rehabilitation. And it's a very sore subject, but it's not love, because love, you know, we could say here, what is love? Love is a multitude of so many different things. Poor old love is, as I said, gets the blame for everything. Where we are unfortunate is we're not shown, because that's where it is. It comes from where you're shown something. In order to identify it, you have to be shown it. So this is where the complication and the conflict comes into play. So with love and what we know about love, and even if we felt unloved, we find something in ourselves that we can identify as being so close to perfect, because we must, in some point of our life, find something that we can attach ourselves to, that makes us feel this special kind of feeling or this special kind of way. Stuart's laughing again, or smiling. So I'm going to throw that out there. What has made you feel special about whatever it is that you have attached yourself to, that you can identify as your go-to whenever you feel like the world is against you? Because we all have this little go-to thing that gives us these little sensations, and I don't know, where do you go? Would someone like to share? Don't leave me hanging.
Where do you go?
You know, what is that thing that you can turn to when you feel that the world is against you, and you can guarantee you can go to it, whatever it is, because we all have it.
My Bible.
It may look different. Well, that you may have your Bible. I don't know. Some people like ice cream. You know, that's the type of thing that we turn to. That thing. What is that thing? Am I right in asking you? And you can just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That you have this thing, whatever it is, because everyone's is going to be different. Maybe some people might have the same, but it's what you turn to. Some people like retail therapy. Yeah. These are the examples that I'm throwing out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
What do you have? Do you have, should I say, something that you can turn to when the world is being unkind to you, or your partner is not behaving in the right way.
Dad got a hand up.
My
Hi, Di.
Bible.
Hand up.
Go
So
for it.
for me, okay, so music is my therapy. Yeah, music is definitely my therapy. And my best friend is my therapy as well.
Mhm.
Come
Whitney is my therapy, definitely. So, especially through those tough times, yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. So I've got Winnie, I've got quite a few. I've got music, I've got Winnie, I've got the Bible, yeah. And
That's
just
what I'm saying.
yeah,
That's
sometimes
it.
I sit down here by myself in silence. So when I can't get hold of Winnie, yeah, and sometimes Stuart's all right to talk to as well. Yeah.
Only sometimes. Only
Winnie,
sometimes.
hmm? But yeah. And Pastor Loy's amazing as well. You know, so I speak to people, but Winnie being my strength. But music definitely is my therapy.
But this is what I'm saying.
That's only because
right?
I sing to her when she's down, Diane.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice.
And laughter.
I didn't know you was a singer, Winnie.
I'm not. I think that's what she laughs at.
Anna,
Huh?
Oh, bless.
But this is what I'm saying. So these are examples, right? Of no matter where we are in our life, no matter how we feel, we don't know how to love. Something like what you reach out for in your moment, in your need of when you are feeling at a low ebb, unloved, don't know what love looks like, but I've got this one thing that I can hold on to, and it makes me feel so, just undescribable, but you feel it. Yeah. Trisha's laughing. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That is yours. No one can take that from you. It could be a memory that you had of time gone by without the physical presence of another human being in front of you. You can just close your eyes in that moment and hold on to that imagination or that image, and it makes you feel a particular way that comforts you, because you're not always going to have that person to show you that TLC.
Okay, so for me again, photographs as well. Just getting away from it. Sometimes I'm just going through photographs of memories. You know, holding on to those beautiful memories, and also speaking about that. Because Win and I talk a lot. You know, about times gone by, Win, the times that we've had, and you know the times that we've had with people that have gone by as well. Yeah, so it's whole. To me, there's laughter. It's conversation and laughter for me as well. Very powerful.
Yeah, it is. It is. Laughter is very good. Stuart, you had your hand up.
okay. Over the last 5, 7, 8 minutes, I've been listening to what's being said, and I feel that there are different types of love. There's different types of love. I feel that you have romantic love, you have affectionate love, you have playful love, you have obsessive love. And I think the thing about those kind of loves is that they're only there for a period of time. But on reflection, and this is something that I went through about 12, maybe 13 years ago, when I was actually examining myself in relation to love. And I found that the only love that really I want in my love is that agape love, that unconditional love, that regardless what I do, what I say, how I do it, how I say it, that person is still going to love me, that unconditional love. And I honestly feel that you can only get that love from our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you know. And so all these other loves are here for a period of time, but the love that God gives you is there for all eternity. And that's the love that I crave for. That's the love that I desire on a daily basis. that agape love, that unconditional love, that regardless whether I make an absolute prat of myself by talking too much or whatever, God still loves me, that person will still love me. And that's what I invariably look for, that agape love, that unconditional love.
And that love, as we know, well, I know, and I don't want to assume everybody here has a relationship with God, but I'm going to assume that everyone here has a relationship with God. That love is first and foremost, Stuart, and it's easy for us who know it to speak of it. But for those who, because of their traumas, are so far from God, they don't believe there is one. But you know what, we're not even going to get into this to the realm of that, because it can go on a different level. But love without conditions, that unconditional love, is so important. And we still, no matter what, we have to understand about who we are. Excuse me. And loving ourselves with no condition, unconditionally. Excuse me. Because life can always excuse me, life has a way of making us dislike ourselves for many reasons, and it's hard for us to find that worth, that self-worth, when the world is showing us that we are not worthy and deserving of love. What do you say to that? How are you able to look at yourself and begin to love yourself and start to love yourself? Because it requires sometimes, most often than not, letting go. We have to let go of, and Trish said it earlier on, behaviors, patterns, sometimes friends, a lot of the time friends, family. Sometimes we even have to relocate in order to start again, because it's a journey of self-reflection. It's a journey of honesty. It requires us to go into ourselves and clear out all of that gunk that we know. And Stuart, you said it, how, you know, having a friend to be honest and truthful to you, to tell you about who you are, and accepting those flaws about yourself without trying to justify whatever. You know what I'm saying? And the hardest thing we find sometimes is that we don't want to acknowledge our flaws. We always like to point the finger outward instead of looking back at ourselves and being honest to who we are, who, you know, why we do the things we do. Have we been nice to this person? Have we dealt with the situation genuinely, properly? You know, asking ourselves those questions of, which I said, taking ownership. Because before we can even think of trying to establish loving somebody else, we have to, you know, set ourselves free by admitting to ourselves all of the things that we know have been toxic in our lives. Yeah, all of those things. Sorry, someone's put a question in. You know, yes, we, you know, we need to be kind to ourselves. The truth sets you free. Yes, we know all of these things, but we have to start to tell ourselves, I want to be a better version of myself, and start writing down all the things. Have a list of, you know, the good and the bad things about yourself. You know, can you look at yourself in the mirror and actually say to yourself, I like who I am. I wouldn't want to change anything about me. Because if you can do that, then you're the perfect person right where you are right now. And Mr. Perfect is coming, or Mrs. Perfect is coming. But if you can't look in that mirror and say to yourself, these are the things that I know about myself that I need to address, because all that's going to happen is you're going to carry them into the next relationship, the next friendship, the next job, the next whatever it is, and they're just going to keep going on, and it's going to become a vicious cycle, and it's never going to end. Yeah? If you can't take ownership of where you are, and it's never too late. Don't ever think it's ever too late, because it's never too late. But the first step of loving self and setting yourself free, number one, is to be honest to yourself where you are right now. You're going to have to do a whole, and I spoke about this some weeks ago, there's a difference between tidying up and cleaning up. Now, when we were growing up, we were very familiar with those two words: go and tidy your room, or go and clean up your room. Yeah, we knew that when we tidied up our room, if our parent, or if us as the parent told our child to do it, if you know there are children involved, all we want to do is open up that bedroom door and see that, you know, we're looking at it from that perspective. The books are put away, the bed's made up, the clothes are in the wardrobe, everything looks spick and span. That's what tidying up is. But when you're cleaning up, the cleaning up process is going under the bed and removing all of that garbage, going in the wardrobes, in the cupboards, in the drawers, and getting rid of the clutter that is hampering, you know, your environment. That's the difference between when you're tidying up a place and when you're cleaning up a place. So you've got to ask yourself, have I tidied up my life, or have I cleaned up my life? That's why they have the word clean up your act. Yeah, because it doesn't reflect who you say or what you've done. Yeah, because you've only tidied it up. But when you clean it up, you're taking ownership. You're taking time out to go into these places and go underneath the bed and pull out things and go in the drawers and get rid of clothes and shoes and stuff that you haven't worn, don't need, letters that are sitting there from 20 years ago, newspaper clippings, things that you just don't need. That's your environment. And that environment needs to be cleaned up. Yes, Di.
So for me, I'm on a journey in terms of myself and that space. So like you say about cleaning up, so with self, it's taking that time out and that space, because that space, it gives you the thinking time, to spend your time, spend with yourself, so this is what's working for me. It's taking that real time out. I mean, I've always been good at spending time with myself, but even more so, I've got no choice because of my circumstances. And it's just, you know, it's sort of embracing, and I'm finding with myself that I'm becoming more creative as well, and things. It's just flowing. So that's part of self-love. That's me loving myself. So I'm not saying I didn't love myself before, but I'm finding that, and I grew up on love and whatever. So I know what true love is as well. But that love for yourself is very important. That space. So the cleaning up, the taking time, and trying to bring it together. It's, you know, finding time is to think. You can just sitting down with yourself and just thinking, making that quality time. For me, I'm going exercising. I mean, there's one other person at the social distance, but on Monday, for example, I went out literally by myself, and that was so powerful. I spent time with God. I was close to nature. I played music. I listened to gospel music, and I found that time with myself was so powerful. But in this house as well, there are moments I just sit down. I have no music, no nothing. Yeah, and you just sit down, and that time is so powerful and so creative. So that self, that time with self is so important.
And you find as well, you get to know more about yourself when you're alone. You get to discover so much more things about yourself that you didn't know before, because in life there always is this noise. There's a constant noise, and the more you move away from it and start taking control of your life, your individual life, without the family, the friends, the children, the pets, you come to realize there's too much noise going on, and it's drowning you. You can't hear yourself think. And if you're going to want to begin to love yourself, you have to sit still and be alone with yourself. Get to know who you really are. And, you know, I'm 52 this year, life spare. And it's only been the last 7 years, 7 years. So when I was 45, that 4 children later, a failed marriage, having to start all over again, lost my job, my health deteriorated, got to know who is Diana Lewis. Well, Diana Gray is my maiden name, but 7 years ago, I'm going into the 7th year now, that I'm finding out who I really am. I think I more know who I am now, but it's taken me 7 years. That meant me stripping myself of friends, family. I lost my job. I had to start a whole new career. My health deteriorated. My spine collapsed. I had to rehabilitate myself again. I had nowhere to live. I was living in my car. When you can, you know, and I'm not just with myself, with my 10-year-old daughter, you understand me? And I've got the 3 older ones. So when you get to a place where life has been unkind to you, and I say that because life never asks your permission to interrupt. It just does. You think you're going along your merry way and everything's good, and you're even planning for tomorrow and the next week and everything else. And then the rug gets pulled from under your feet. You've got no preparation. You don't know. You fear the unknown. You don't even know what's going to happen, right? But yet you find yourself on your face with children, your health, no place to go, and everything else. What do you do? So I say all that to say, 7 years it's taken me to rebuild my life from nothing to who I am today and where I am today. And I stand, or I sit in this precise moment from a place of love, where yes, it would be nice to have a significant other, but I'm doing bad by myself. Yeah, I'm so in love with myself that I don't need no company right now. Though I have a good friend who I'm established in a friendship with, but I'm still loving being by myself because I love myself, right? I'm sitting here and I'm not showing off, but I've got a 54-pound bottle of perfume that I've sprayed for this show, because that's what love is, yeah? That's what love does, yeah? Don't ask me how I'm gonna name next week, but that's my business. But that's what love does for you. It allows you to give yourself without no apology. You understand me? I don't, like, one of my good friends is on here, Marilyn. Stephanie's on here as well. My goddaughter's on here. And I've come to know some people on this platform over time, but that's because of love of myself. So you start to attract people who love just like you. You understand me? They love on that level. They're all about where you're going and what you're all about. You understand me? And when you get there, it's such a powerful, and it's also empowering, because you want to give exactly what you've got in you, because it's the most amazing feeling. And it's like, you can't be in it by yourself. You want others around you to give off. Yeah. So it's not impossible. However you come to be by yourself, it doesn't have to be, you know, how mine comes to be like that. You know, my good friend Diane here, she lost her husband through death. She lost both of her parents in a space of what, 3 months time?
6 weeks.
No, so I lost away in May, and then my mum and dad in the July.
Right, so 2 months. The main free cause of her love was taken away from her. That's 2018. Yeah, 2018. So how do you make a comeback? Well, I'm sitting here, number one. Di's sitting here. Marilyn's sitting here. Stephanie's sitting here. Chantel's sitting here. Everybody here has made a comeback. Trish just shared her testimony with us. Yeah. Stuart found unconditional love. Yeah. But you're not alone on that, because he loves me as well. Try no. Yeah.
Well, the reality of it is, God loves each of us as if there's only one of us. All right. God loves each of us as if there's only one of us. Okay. Boy, what you just said was actually quite powerful and quite profound. And I relate what you said, i.e., to the book of Psalms, okay, where in reading the book of Psalms, you see people going along their everyday lives, and metaphorically speaking, is that they fall into a big, enormous pit, you know, just going about their everyday business and just the enormous pit. And they cry out to God, and God takes them out of that pit, and they continue their journey of everyday life. And then at another stage in their life, they fall into a pit again. Yeah. And the moral of what I'm saying is that we just have to trust God. We just have to just trust God, and He will see us through. Okay.
Absolutely.
You know, and that Psalm 23 is such a profound psalm, especially at this present moment in time, what's happening in our world and COVID-19. You know, every single body in this world feels in some way or another as if they're going through the valley of the shadow of death. Everybody feels that they're going through, some in more ways than others. You understand? But if God takes you to something, He will see you through it.
Amen.
Right? And it's when we get to those times of life when it's trials and tribulations beyond what we can bear, that is when we are to trust God and believe in Him more so. Right? Because if He takes you to something, He will see you through it. Okay. Likewise, sharing our experiences, sharing the times in our lives when we've been down and out and just don't know how we've got through. Okay. I can give you endless amount of testimonies in my life where I don't know how I got through it, but I've got through it because I've got through it. And it's all by the grace of God. And we have to share our stories.
Trish just wanted to say bye.
Bye, Trish.
Yeah.
Well, I'm closing now.
She had to go because she's got to sort out her daughter.
Oh, okay. Okay. Bye. So, you know,
Bye, Trish.
We are to share our experiences. We are to share them. Okay. Yes. Because what you said, Diana, you know, can mean so much to all the rest of us. You know, and like I said earlier on, but our life starts now.
Yeah.
What's happened in the past is the past, but our life starts now.
Mm-hmm.
And we can use what's happened in the past to make our lives going forwards bigger, better, and all the more profound. So in essence, really what I'm saying is that we are to trust and depend on God. Trust and depend on Him and lean on Him in a way that we commit ourselves to Him.
Mm-hmm.
Our every being, our everything that we do, we have to just look to just trust in Him.
Mm-hmm.
And He will see us through.
Mhm.
The sun will shine again for all of us.
Oh, certainly.
When we feel that the sun will shine again.
He who the sun sets free is free indeed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's so liberating. Like I said, love just liberates you. And this is love sitting right here. This is God's unconditional love, agape love that He taught me in order for me to be here on this platform and doing all the other things I could do. It's because He plucked me from out of that miry clay and placed me where He placed me. And He took me, and it wasn't easy, you know what I'm saying? But I want to leave all of that for my Saturday platform because, you know, that's the only love for me right now. No human can love me like that. And I won't expect them to. You understand me? But where I sit right now, I'm in a position where I know that as long as I have, and I said this to my friend Marilyn today, anybody that comes along has to add to what I already have.
Amen.
You understand me? They cannot take from me.
Amen.
And that's it. And Stuart, do not say anything right now.
Oh, bless.
You're silent, right? But
Okay, I won't say anything. But I'm gonna write it down and talk to you at a later stage, all right?
yes, yeah. But love is about sharing. Love is about caring. Love is about raising each other up. Love is about truth. Love is about telling whoever, whatever, in order for them to grow. And that is what and why love liberates. Love is never going to hurt anybody. Real, sincere, genuine, true love is never going to hurt no one. It's never going to leave you depleted. The real love will rise you up to be the best version of yourself you can be. And I know that He ain't through with me yet, but where I sit from this platform, my God, if this is what I have in this stage, and I'm still a work in progress. Miss sorry for some people. Yeah, I'm really sorry in the sense that He's a mover and a shaker, and I never ever saw my portfolio that He had for me. I wish I'd seen it a lot sooner, but nothing before its time. I've seen it now.
Nothing before its time. Nothing
Yeah?
before its time.
I've seen it now. I've got my health restored. I've got my peace restored, my love restored. Everything has been a restoration. And that's what He's about. And when it comes from Him, it's not going nowhere. Do it? Oh, he's talking. Yeah. When that love comes, that true love, that agape love, that unconditional love, that love that you put in all of your traits when you're looking for that person to bring all of these things to you. If you don't have any of this about yourself, don't go looking for it in another person. You understand me? it starts with self. Yeah, it starts with self. So all of those things that you've added when I asked the question and you gave me, if you can't find them or you're struggling to find them in yourself, please don't go and bother another human being and put these expectations on them. And you haven't found them in yourself first, because that is unfair. And you're setting up someone else to fail. And that person could rely so much on what you're saying to them, or not even rely so much on what you're saying to them. You could damage that person because you're damaged. You're still damaged. Yeah. And it's not fair. So do not, if there's anything I'm going to ask in seek of this person, please make sure that what you expect from another person, you have thoroughly examined yourself, and you can hold in high regards that you yourself have got those traits that you're seeking for in somebody else, or don't go messing up anybody else until you have yours. All right? That's what love is. Love will liberate you, and love will hold that other person high up in high regard. Somebody said something here. Find it. Yes, Stuart, God is love. Stephanie said something, but I can't reach it. You are love. We are love. We are. We are. We are. We are. We are. All right. So I'm mindful of the time, and you know, this definitely has been a platform for self-expression of love. Even though Trish isn't here, this has definitely been a place for her. You can, because I've spoke to her differently, and for her to come on the platform and share her experience, she has grown in herself, in her self-love, to be able to share what she was feeling. And that is exactly what love does to you. It makes you open up. You don't feel afraid to say or not to say. You know when to speak and when not to speak. And if you feel like you want to share, it's raised something inside of you that tells you you're ready, because love is also a readiness as well. You know what I'm saying? It's a readiness as well. So I just wanted to share with you, there's this little book that I have, and it's called When I Loved Myself Enough by Kim Macmillan. And I'm just, you know, I can open at any page. But the page that I found today, wow, okay. I don't know what's happened here. Someone's playing with their galaxy. I know it's Pastor Lloyd. She did this the last time. Let me bring it back. Yeah. Okay, we're all back. And it says, when I loved myself enough, and I picked this page before the platform started, I didn't know how it was going to go. It says, when I loved myself enough, I became my own authority by listening to the wisdom of my heart. This is how God speaks to me. This is intuition. So you see how God is anyway. Like I said, I just flicked through the pages and stopped it anywhere. But he's just making you know he is the all-powerful. When it comes to love, it's his love that's number one. There ain't nothing like it. But when you start to love yourself enough, everything you do it with authority and power and dominion, because that's what he's given you. So don't let nobody set you up into to believing that you don't have that power or authority and dominion, because that's your birth, your God-given birthright. Okay? And that is what love is. So we have come to an end. a powerful end on love. What better subject to start with and finish? And I hope that you are feeling loved up. You are understanding of, am I loving myself? Am I right to have these expectations in another human being? I hope that you've kind of been given some understanding of what direction to go in. Pastor Lloyd, you shared with us how your experience, well, what you're like, you know, on your approach to seeking your what would you call them, your Mr. Charming. Say it again. You was muted.
That's all right. Done it.
Go.
Yeah. What did I just say? I just lost it there. I was gonna say. Yeah, it's just being more aware. You can be more lively around people. Because sometimes you be stand back and be so calm and collected, and yet expecting people to approach you. But sometimes you use your own initiative of showing who are you, so that people can see that you're open and you know you're gonna have fun with them. Because sometimes I just feel like people are too serious, and I just like to see a smile on people's face. You know what I mean? Even though they might not say anything, but just seeing the smile, now, oh, I made them smile today. You know, that's what I want for my partner. When I see him, wherever he is, we just have fun. You know what I mean? It's not like I want to know 24/7 about the person, but a lot of it is to do with ourselves as well, because there was a lot of points you made into there and others made into the group. And all of us has got something related going on in our journey right now for where we are at. And, you know, I've always said to people, how I dealt with it, no one gave me a book what life will be. I didn't learn it. I just learned it as I go along. I learned from people, I learned from books. You know what I mean? It's just your surrounding. But like what you say, we have to learn to believe in ourselves and love ourselves first, because we're waiting for people to give us approval.
Yes.
And when you don't realize you're giving away too much power yourself. And then you realize, you know, you should have been looking at yourself. What is it about you? What makes you be you? And we all get there that we try to be fitting with people, but you're not really that person. And I always say every book must have a chapter, page about you. What are you changed about yourself? And like you say, holding responsible for our actions and things. And I've always said to people, if you think negative, negative only comes to you. That's why power of the love is the greatest of all time. Because when you love, nothing is going to come in of negative, because you say, oh no, not my ground. I've been there too much. I'm not wearing those rag clothes. No, no, no. The past have to let go and let me see what future, because I haven't seen the future. You know, I want to go up in a hot balloon. You know what I mean? You might think I'm crazy, but doing something that I haven't done before, but I just want to sense what it's like to go up in a balloon and just feel it up in the air, looking around the whole of the UK or in the Caribbean, but doing something that you never expect yourself to do, but just be joyful. And as you do that, then there's more stuff will come, because it will see that the more you send out love, love comes in abundance in many crazy ways. And that's what I had to learn. That's the only way, because none of us is perfect. None of us is perfect. We didn't have a book to tell us how to live life. I have 5 daughters and 3 grandchildren. I'm ready to be a grandmother again. But it's the joy. Yeah, I've had my ups and downs. I'm not going to say that I didn't. But it's about letting it go about who we are. And one girl said in the group, you know, why am I attracted to certain groups when I meet them? Because it's the energy we send off that we're not valued. What is our value? What is about you? Until you get, honestly, like Stuart said, you've got to be truthful. The truth will set us free. And that's the only game that we can play. We can put on a mask, and I can put on my wig and make myself look good, and put on my sexy dress, and I'm saying, yeah, man, I'm out of the town now. And then I'm going out and shocking out, and then that's not the right energy, because I'm not feeling what I'm supposed to be feeling. When I put on my clothes and my makeup and that's me. I'm going on business now. You know, that's the only way we get life. And Let me stop talk.
Continue.
But that's
Come
what
on,
the truth
Lord.
does, Pastor Lloyd. It sets you free. You understand? That passion that came over, you know what that means to you. It weren't getting you where you wanted to be. It was tiring. It takes so much to put on this performance.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is exactly why we do what we do. Because people need to get real and know when it's time to hang up that facade. Because that's what it is. And step into their true self, who they were born to be, and stop blaming people, your situation, where you come from, you know, all of the excuses that you are allowing to prevent you from being who you are. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. It's got nothing to do with nobody else bar yourself. Yeah? And until you take, going back to ownership of self, you will never experience what true love does. True love liberates you. It doesn't stagnate you. It don't paralyze you. It don't box you in. It don't restrict you. It don't give you less than you deserve. It gives you in abundance. Yes, Di.
And I think, you know, in terms of love, so those people that have got, so none of us are perfect, but in terms of, you know, what I've seen it do, you can kind of, you know, you've got people that kind of, you know, say this and they're not true to themselves, and you can actually see, you know, the flaws in them. I mean, we've all got flaws, but you can see they're not being, because I can see when people are not, and I can feel it in my spirit when people aren't being true to themselves. And it's about, you know, that sense of, you've got to be humble, you've got to be honest, you've got to open up to others. And, you know, so on this platform, because Diana, you and I only reconnected on the 1st of April, and look at the power of love.
Absolutely. Yeah. That in itself, yeah.
And Pastor Lloyd, I've only known Pastor Lloyd since 2018. Amazing lady. Power of love. Stuart, I can't remember, you know, I met him somewhere down the line, yeah. He's amazing. A win. I keep saying I've got the best friend anyone can ever have. Yeah, I tell you, laughter, love, everything. So it's, you know,
it's debatable.
So, anyway,
That's debatable.
Don't hate, Stuart, don't hate, yeah? We're talking about love, yeah? We're talking about love now. It's about love.
Yeah, so the power of love is amazing. It really does set you free. And when you've got people doing stupid, you know, it's about wiping out those people. And it's for there's people that, you know, I've had to distance myself from. I hate nobody, and I'm full of the things that I'm going through, and the way that I've been treated, even through my grief. I still got love for those people. Yeah, but they teach you things, and they teach you, you know, obviously distant. You can have distant love.
Guy, remember this. Look at this. Yeah. Don't ever look at that person in that way again. You'll never look at them in that way again. And always be reminded of where you are. And, you know, you can just thank God that you're not that way. Or thank God that you know love.
And that's just it. And I always say, what I say is, I thank God that I know God for a start. I thank God for the parents I had. I thank God for my husband. I thank God for my best friend, because she's been amazing. I can't stop. I'm always talking about Winston. Yeah, I'm always talking, because I've known her since I was a little girl. So this is love here, definitely. Yeah, and so I've met people, and it pulls real people to you as well.
Yeah, that's what love does. It does. It brings you to be in the company of the most wonderful people that you think about. How did I entertain all of that before? You know, how did I entertain it? But that comes with maturity. It comes with, because we all grow into adults, but not all of us are mature adults. Do you know what I'm saying? it's a different distinction between the two of them. But no matter where love shows up, love is love.
Mm-hmm.
And you can identify it when it shows up, that authentic love. It just, you're constantly smiling, you're constantly happy, you're constantly enjoying, you're constantly full of peace. Everything is constant. Constant.
And that laughter is so good for the soul, I tell you. Win and I, we laugh so much. Stuart, we have a little laugh with him sometimes. And Pastor Law, we always laugh. When we're together, we laugh. So much jokes, you know. So to me, yeah, laughter is good for the soul. That's part of love.
Love is love. If you can see my wall, it says, live every moment, laugh every day, and love beyond words. So you must have all these affirmations around you so you can.
So I've got live simply, love truly. I've got love is a journey, not a destination. Yeah, I've got, well, it relates to love. And Ray chose this. Love doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. No, life, sorry. Maybe we should say love. Doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe I'll change it.
And there will be many. You'll just find them along the way when you start. Have them, see them around you. Build everything on love as you wake up. Just tell you, I love myself. I love you, God. I love myself. I love my life. I'm going to love today. I'm going to do everything in love. And you will find that it just becomes like second nature. You will know when something is not operating from a standpoint of love. You would just know.
And I'm looking at a heart that says, you make my heart smile. You know, it's just about surrounding yourself with love. And I've got a heart.
Absolutely.
My cup says love. Yeah.
love, and more love. But listen, I'm mindful of the time once again. And yes, Steph says, walk in love, talk in love, wash the dishes with love.
That's right. Spray yourself with love, Diana, like you have.
What's that, Di?
Spray yourself like you did with the perfume, the fragrance of love.
Expensive love.
Expensive love. Yeah. love don't cost a thing.
It's true. It's just priceless. Priceless.
Especially self-love. I'm telling you. But no, it's always real. On a real. And thank you once again. I do this because I love life. I love people. And I just want to know that whatever I can do from wherever I can, there's no restriction. I want to give people a place, a safe place where they can come and have these laughters, discuss these topics. And it's done in the name of love. There ain't nothing about where we are today that when we come to a close, we're going to leave this platform and feel untowards, because it's done in love. And I want you to know that I sincerely have a love for why I do what I do. I wouldn't do it for anything else. I do it because I love it and I love people and I want people to be happy, genuinely happy. And that is really what it's about. And I want you to just start loving yourself, do everything in love. I look forward to you guys next week, Saturday. The guys are back next week. Woo, woo, woo. It's going to be an awesome platform. And sorry, Stu, was you saying something?
Yeah, excuse me, the guys are back. What? The guys here?
Yeah, no. Sorry, you wasn't on last week. I've got 2 co-hosts. And
okay.
Yes, but no, welcome you. Let me just show some love to the one and only Stuart. On my screen, he sits in the middle, so he's surrounded by all of this love. Yeah. Definitely. And it's always nice. Always nice. We have a male on the platform. It's a pleasure, and you have been a treasure being on the platform today. Your advice, you gave sound advice from a male perspective, which always helps and brings balance. So, you know how us women are. We like to dominate things.
I have noticed.
But here we have, even if it's one man representing the masses, you've given from your male perspective.
Huh? You're brave, huh?
But
really
no,
brave.
definitely.
Brave or stupid?
Huh?
You did well.
I'm brave or stupid?
Brave.
No.
Brave.
Brave. No, well done.
Hold on, don't
Yeah.
go. Let me just do that. Let me just do the screenshot this. Yeah, and it's always a pleasure. Like as I said, I'm forever indebted to the people who take their time out to invest in this hour and going into 2, because that shows me that even if you're not curious, you're gonna be here in support of it anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? And I have a genuine appreciation for, and I thank you. And like I said, if I disappoint you, tell me. If I don't, tell others.
I'm always feeling others, so there you go.
Yeah, thank you, Di. Thank you. You're forever. Your unwavering support has just been beyond, and hearts. So thank you once again, guys. Have an amazing rest of the evening.
Thank you.
I look forward to those who are joining the platform on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't
Take
forget
care, all.
Saturday.
God bless.
God bless. Set your alarm for Saturday.
Bye. Stay
11
safe.
o'clock.
Stay safe.
Bye. Thank
See you
you.
then.
Okay. Bye.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.